Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I've got another doom and gloom video for you that isn't here to discourage you from getting involved in crypto, especially Bitcoin, but the goal of this video is to arm you with what I like to call a rational sense of paranoia. So for those that haven't heard this word before, what a rational sense of paranoia is that you're engaging in worst case scenario thinking to protect yourself from falling down certain traps that you're very likely to fall in if you're overly optimistic about certain things, right? Now, what happens during bull markets, and that's exactly what we're entering into. You could already argue we're in a bull market. After all, we've already hit all-time highs. But the bull market that we're going to go into next year is going to be a state of parabola, and it's the kind that we've seen in 2021, 2017, and 2013. And for those that haven't experienced what it's like, the sense of euphoria, the mind-bending ups and downs, witnessing friends, random people in the street, taxi drivers, grandmas, etc., become millionaires overnight, you won't understand just how much it can damage your psychology. And when you're in this market, it's extremely important to have a level-headed and rational mindset all the time, because when you start seeing Bitcoin going to crazy high numbers, when you start seeing altcoins like Solana, when you see people become millionaires overnight from these random dog coins, it's going to have a really perhaps even a very disastrous effect on your mindset, because you're going to be hit with FOMO and all these other things. And this is the time where it's most dangerous, because it leaves you very vulnerable to a number of traps. And these traps are the things I want to talk about in this video to arm you against these things when they occur, so you're much more paranoid about things going south. Because I'm just going to be completely honest with you, as someone who's been through all these cycles since 2017, I've witnessed people become millionaires and lose it overnight simply because they fell into these euphoria traps. And I want to talk about some of the psychological traps you could get into, some of the literal scam traps you can get into. But first, if you like these kinds of videos, make sure to subscribe to my channel. One of the things I'm very passionate about in this channel is helping people avoid speculation and just using Bitcoin for exactly what it was meant for, which is a peer-to-peer means of exchange. It's not meant for speculation. You can use it to hold value as a hedge against inflation. And ultimately, fundamentally, you can use it to help you debank, which means to reduce your reliance on centralized banking systems. But part of that means you're going to have to know how to use it to buy and sell things. You want to find out how to find ways to get paid in cryptocurrency, pay your bills in cryptocurrency, and that's what my channel is about. So make sure to subscribe. And a big part of debanking is using peer-to-peer cryptocurrency exchanges, because they don't require KYC, and they allow you to do all kinds of interesting things like buy and sell cryptocurrency with gift cards. That'll allow you to use cryptos to buy gift cards, and then use those gift cards, like Amazon gift cards, to buy food and stuff like that. So I'm all about the practical use case of Bitcoin, and I'm always trying to mentor newbies on how essentially not to lose their money, because to me that is the first and most ultimate goal of investing in general. Before even making money, just make sure that you've reduced your risk down to as much as possible, because especially when you start seeing everyone becoming rich, it's going to delude you. So what I want to talk first about before getting into some of the meat and potatoes of this video is we'll just say someone who isn't me, and I'm going to talk about some people who I don't know. I'm just going to kind of give some random examples off the top of my head about some of the massive rise and decline of certain individuals that I've known who have made huge amounts of money, staggering amounts of money in crypto. And I'm not singling out any one particular person, because I've known this happen to so many people, where they bought some shitcoin, ICO, meme coin. Maybe they got money from leverage trading, and with not that much amount of money, they were able to go 10, 30, maybe even 100x their funds, and overnight basically become millionaires. And what happens frequently is they will try and redo exactly what they did to get there in the first place, not fully giving credit to the fact that luck was a significant factor in their rapid success. And as a result, they believe that it's replicable because what should have been attributed to luck, they attributed to their own skills, and they overvalued their skills. And as a result, they tried to put their money again into some other Dogecoin, And maybe it doesn't work out the first time, so they try again. They've got plenty of money, doesn't work. They try again, and ultimately, when they lose, they try and make their gains back faster by putting more and more of their money in and doubling after bad money. And this plays into something called the survivorship bias. And what this means is that if you're in a situation where you've had success after success after success, right? Imagine you've put your money into Dogecoin X and you makes a bunch of money, right? Then you decide, you know what, I'm going to put a bit more into Dogecoin B, and then that goes up a lot. And then you decide, you know what, I'm going to try leverage trading, and do a nice trade and it goes up 10x, right? And you're doing this in a bull market, right? So you're just having all this luck. What's going to happen is it's going to create in your mind this belief that because you've survived, and you continue to reap the rewards of your success, the understanding is that it must be purely because you're good at what you're doing, allowing you to justify further and further risk taking. And as a result, it can get to the point where it's very hard to distinguish the fact that you've just gotten lucky. You start to believe that this has come from some kind of intrinsic skill that you've developed over others. But the reality is, when you're trading in these markets, you have to understand the concept of a zero-sum game. A zero-sum game means that you're only winning because someone else can lose. It's like a game of soccer, right? Only one person can win. I mean, you can technically draw, right? But you only win if the other person loses, right? You can't have a game of soccer where two people win. You can't have a game of tennis where two people win. You can't have a game of volleyball where two people lose. One wins and one loses. And that's exactly what it is for the most part when you're trading these, we'll just say, things that allow you to acquire huge amounts of money very quickly. When you're trading in the next dog coin or meme coin, what happens is that if someone, let's just say if every person puts in $1,000, if one person, and there's 100 people there, right? If one person 100x's their money, and they got to $100,000, that implies that the other 100 people had to lose, and they all had to lose their money in order for this guy to win. For him to have gotten that money, it had to have come from somewhere. That money didn't just appear out of thin air. He had to be faster than all the other people. He had to be the first to buy and the first to sell when it was at its all-time high. And the moment he sells, the opportunity for other people to sell goes down simply because the price has gone down, right? So it's kind of like a game of musical chairs, right? The first person to sell wins. The person who sells after that is the second to win, and so on and so forth, right? But it gets to the point where eventually someone is forced to sell at a lower price than they bought in, and they'll lose. So there are going to be people who win and lose, and it's baked into the game of speculating in cryptocurrencies, because that's the only way you can win or lose. And as I've discussed in other videos, very few cryptocurrencies actually produce any real value in the long run. 99% of them don't exist even a year or two from the time that they were created. And if you actually go into the fundamentals of these cryptos, like if you're investing in a stock or something like that, most of them don't make money. Most of them are simply just a white paper, just an idea that was created in someone's head, and nothing really emerged out of it. And the only reason why the price went up is because other people were investing in it, causing a speculation bubble, and that's ultimately where the money is made. But you ultimately make it off the backs of other people. And this isn't a kind of long-term money-making strategy required to become financially successful in the long term. If you play these kinds of games, you might win, but long-term, if you keep playing them, you're going to lose. And ultimately, the best thing to do is just not get involved in all. In fact, it'd be better if you did get involved in these games. It would actually be better if you got wrecked in the very beginning, because it's like when people, if they go to the casino for the first time, if they try play blackjack or the roulette table, and if they lost like $100 or more the first time they went to the casino, there's a very good chance they're going to walk home salty, but they'll probably never go again. Why would they get addicted to a game that they've lost money at? However, the worst thing is when someone actually wins at these games, and they're more likely to return, and they're going to lose more money in the end compared to the person who lost the first time. So for those that are thinking, well, look, I'm going to just try get in, I'm going to win, and then I'm going to get out, I would argue against that simply because of the fact that if you do win, it's more likely to kind of create a mindset within you that's going to fester and almost create like a kind of an addiction, right? You're more like, if you're going to win at like shitcoining, you're much more likely to try that again. I mean, I don't think that's a really wild speculation. I think that's really likely. And I think like 20% of people have like an addictive personality in some way, right? Either, and they might not have any problems at all, right? But that's why there's like some credence in saying like everyone should just never do heroin, right? Because a lot of people, if they did heroin once, they would probably have no problem and just quit, right? But there's 20% of people, if they did it once, they're basically hooked for like the rest of their life, or they're going to be hooked for years, right? And I think that's the case when it comes to this rampant speculation in cryptocurrency. To me, it is exactly gambling. It's not different from gambling. It's not similar to gambling. It's 100% gambling, right? Because it's a zero-sum game. And also the house always wins. The people that got in at the very beginning, people who got in pre-sale, people who are friends with the developers, or the developers themselves, these are the people that are always going to win. And then the people who, get in later, they're going to be scrambling to, be the first to buy and sell, but they'll never be long-term winners, right? You don't want to be involved in these games. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the next thing. Okay, so as you can see, I already talked about all the altcoins. So you know it. Most of these will long-term, if you hold them long-term, you will not make money. Like 10 years from now, if you held like a Cardano, you're not going to outcompete Bitcoin. If you held Core, you're not going to outcompete Bitcoin. Most things you're not going to outcompete Bitcoin. And I could be wrong about some others, but for the most part, the chances that you're going to guess correctly which one of these is going to be the ones to outcompete Bitcoin, I mean, maybe they outcompete the stock market, sure, but very few of these. Now, I've done an analysis on this. Pretty much all of the ones in the top 100, like with very few exceptions, outcompete Bitcoin in the long term. Like there are a few examples that are the case. Like Ethereum is an example, Solana is an example. In the long term, though, like you never know, right? It's better to just be in Bitcoin and just to not waste your time. And another thing as well that I want to talk about is the prominence of crypto scams. And it's very hard for someone who's been in crypto for a very long time, like myself, to get scammed. And here's the thing, because I do a lot of peer-to-peer trading and I'm in this for a living, I'm doing it all the time, it still will occasionally happen. Things just happen when you're constantly dealing in crypto. The more you're dealing with it, there's a higher chance at some stage you're just going to encounter someone who just does you dirty. But for those that are getting into the market now, it's really hard because these people who are into scamming have been doing it for a long time. They do it almost like a full-time job. They're constantly conceptualizing new kinds of scams, and it's very hard for someone that's new to kind of get into the mindset of what these people are thinking, because they're always evolving. So there are all these different ones, but I think that without going into too much detail on each of them, I'll just talk about like some of the big ones that should kind of scare you, because like there's a very simple one where it's like, so most people are using Web3 wallets like MetaMask or Phantom. I mean, you can just you can be perusing through crypto Twitter. Someone mentions something about a project, you go to their website, and you decide, I'm just going to connect my wallet simply because, in order to interact with this dApp, I need to connect to the wallet. Like, who hasn't done that? I've connected my wallet to tons of things before. I don't think that's a strange thing. And to be honest, it's a little bit hard to tell immediately off the bat, like what is okay to connect your wallet to and what's not okay to connect your wallet to. But there are so many times where it's like in the process of signing the contract to connect with that dApp, you may actually be signing a contract that says something like, you're going to send all your funds away to some wallet, that could be in the microprint of the contract. You don't know this, right? And a lot of people have lost like huge amounts of Solana simply by just connecting their wallet to a dApp. That's just one of them, right? And there are a number of pump and dump schemes. Everyone knows the rug pull. Someone creates like a low liquidity token, a bunch of people buy, someone has access, like the person who made it has access to the majority of the liquidity of that token. They sell it all at once. the price dumps to zero, that guy runs away with all the liquidity, and all he had to do was create like some shit coin. It didn't cost anything for him to make, but people put in real money in order to buy this wasteful token, and some person ran away with it. And then there's honeypots, which is another kind where people start selling, they'll create a token, start selling it, and as soon as people buy that token, there's a smart contract thing that will prevent them from actually being able to sell that token. And what's really terrible about this honeypot is that because people can't sell, all you'll see on like the different tools like DEX tools, CoinMarketCap or whatever, is you're going to see the market cap continually rise. The price is going to keep going up because people are only buying, no one's selling. So the price just keeps going up. People are going to look at this coin and say, wow, this is really good to buy. I've got in at a good time. The price just keeps going up. Then they buy, they can't sell, they've lost all their money. Then it attracts even more people. This is called a honeypot. It's become very popular, right? And these honeypots, these rug pull scams, they originate a lot on Reddit, Telegram, Discord, crypto, Twitter, even YouTube now these days. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this video gets enough views. There's going to be people commenting in the comments below saying how like there's some new token that people should buy into, and a lot of people that aren't as like don't have, again, what I call a rational paranoia about failure, they're more likely to to buy in. And this is again the danger about the bull market, because when everyone's getting rich and everyone's making 10x's, people are more likely to act irrationally. And before, where they wouldn't have clicked on some random YouTube comment saying you shouldn't buy Nvidia 9000, it's the latest thing you can buy on BSC, all of a sudden they're much more likely to click on these things because they are in a state of irrationality. But I want to talk about another thing that is different. The reason why I say this is the most dangerous crypto bull market that we've had, and I'm not saying that without hyperbole, I believe that is the case. The reason why I'm saying that as well is because that Bitcoin has never been more expensive than it has before. There was a time where if you simply just bought Bitcoin and held it, you did nothing with it, you forgot about it, not on an exchange, of course, on a hardware wallet, put it into cold storage, that was enough to almost guarantee retirement. There was a time where you could do that. You could have done that any time before 2018. Bitcoin was very affordable. The idea of buying like multiple Bitcoins was very reasonable. You know, there was a time when you could just mine Bitcoin. You didn't even have to buy it, and you could very easily become rich off that. And there weren't as many like options at that stage, right? Before Ethereum, there was really just Bitcoin, and of course you had Litecoin, XRP, stuff like that. But Bitcoin was the granddaddy of them. And then after 2017, you have the likes of Ethereum, which popped up, which was actually it's a great crypto. But from there spawned so many other kinds of cryptos, and it gave people a lot more choice about what to buy. Gave even such a wide variety of investment options for people that wanted to get in crypto. It was no longer standard for you to get into Bitcoin. Like prior to 2000, well, prior to when Ethereum came out, it was guaranteed that anyone in crypto owns Bitcoin first and foremost. Now in this day and age, and all the way in 2024, there are so many people who own crypto but have never owned Bitcoin before and never intend to own Bitcoin before. There are people who are just Sol maxis. There are people who are ETH maxis, which I don't want to say there's anything bad specifically about that, but that has led to people being like, you know what, I'm like 50% ETH, and I'm 50% dog with hat, right? With the proliferation of meme coins, it's always going to be flashed in your face like how much money people are making, right? So, and also with all these new coins coming out, there's just endless ways of speculating. And at least in 2017, if you wanted to get into an ICO, you had to go through this long, lengthy process of like, you know, getting whitelisted, and, you know, maybe you didn't get into the ICO. Now it's so accessible. And with the price of Bitcoin being so high, like most young people where this is their first bull market, most will never own one Bitcoin, right? And as I've talked about in other videos, Bitcoin was retail driven. Now it's purely institutional driven, and eventually it will be just government driven. Like the amount of Bitcoin in circulation will be owned by large whales that have been in Bitcoin since however long ago, institutions and governments. Like Bitcoin is just going to be increasingly out of reach for the average person who is just getting in the market. And for a lot of them who are in Bitcoin, principally as a result of just wanting to make money, they're going to say, hey, look, why get into Bitcoin if the last bull market in 2021, if it only 3x'd, this market, maybe this time around, maybe it only goes up 2x. Why get into Bitcoin that might only go up to 200K this year, when I could get into Solana that might possibly 10x? Why get into Solana when I could maybe get into what's something crazier, Dog with Hat, that could possibly 100x? Why go with Dog with Hat when I can go with Trump, Inu, Shiba, Harry Potter, Obama coin that will go to 1000x, right? So I think that, and these might sound like very absurd examples to people that aren't very new to the market, but I've talked to a lot of young people that are getting into it, and they are just getting hammered with all this crap about all these really crappy coins, and most of them aren't really that into Bitcoin simply because they think that the time of Bitcoin is over, which is a sad reality. But the truth is, Bitcoin is no longer the fresh egg it used to be, and I'm not saying that, look, I'll love Bitcoin till the end, even though I'm always dunking on Bitcoin maxis. I love Bitcoin more than anything, and I wouldn't want to hold anything else long term. But Bitcoin has been around for around 16 years. And it's not a spring chicken anymore. It's reaching a stage of increased maturity, and I think it's got a lot of gas left in its tank on its way to the moon. But I understand if it seems like less of a vehicle for going to the moon as other things, mainly for young people who have less capital. And as a result, these guys are much more likely to get involved in these coins that are ultimately going to wreck them in the end and make them poorer as a result. So if you're watching this video, and if you're honest enough to see yourself in this category of people who's look, I don't have tens of thousands of dollars to my name to invest in Bitcoin and buy one Bitcoin or even half Bitcoin, and you think that you're more likely to just get involved in shitcoins, I'd really encourage you to take this longer, more slower route, which is put whatever you can into Bitcoin and just really steel yourself against the coming mania that's going to come and convince you that you can make money instantaneously, because that is where you're going to lose your money. Look, this is coming from someone that didn't originally go to college when I graduated high school. I kind of took a more roundabout way. So I do feel a little bit square saying this, but at the end of the day, it's better if you take the long route. Don't chase easy money. If you're young, go get an education, go get a normal job, start a business. If you want to take advantage of the crypto bull run, start a crypto business. There is so many opportunities in cryptocurrency that doesn't involve straight up speculation. You can ride the Bitcoin bull run in so many ways. You can own Bitcoin, start a Bitcoin business. There are so many different kinds of businesses you can do. Ideally, you want to just be good at business in general, but focus on how you can create a legitimate service or product that you can basically sell for crypto. There are so many things that you can do in crypto. You can learn how to do Solidity, learn how to write smart contracts, coding for cryptocurrency. That's a very in-demand service. I remember in 2021, the few people that knew how to code Rust, which is the Solana smart contract thing, or Solidity on Ethereum. A lot of these guys were making, I knew some people that were making $10,000 a pop just for cloning the smart contracts of, cloning different dexes like PancakeSwap and selling them to people who had no idea about it but had the money and a desire to to try and get involved in the crypto ecosystem. So there are so many ways to make money in crypto if you take the short way of trying to make money fast. You will get wrecked, and frankly you deserve it, because a fool in his money is easily parted, as some wise person who I can't remember said. So make sure to take the long and not easy route. It's you've got a lot of opportunities still, so don't mess it up. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Make sure to subscribe to this channel if you want no nonsense advice, if you want to learn how to use your cryptocurrency to help you debank, to reduce your reliance on centralized financial systems, how to make money in P2P cryptocurrency trading. If you want to buy it or sell it, you can do it without KYC, without without using a crypto exchange that requires like where they want to be a custodian of your funds. Sorry, I kind of butchered that. So make sure to use my referral links in the description down below. You can use local CoinSwap or HODL HODL. These are two great exchanges you can use to buy cryptocurrency without KYC. You can also sell cryptocurrency, and you can actually make money doing it. And if you want to do the same but for Monero, you can use BitValve and BitPapa. These are two peer-to-peer cryptocurrency exchanges that don't require KYC as well. So if you're interested in that, make sure to use my referral link in the description down below, and I'll see you next time.